lovies, it's Lovey Lady V. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with my 25-week bump date, so let's get right on into it. First off, this week the app is saying that baby is the size of an eggplant. I don't have an eggplant with me, but I will show you what it looks like on my measuring tape in a bit. So the three things that the app is saying to look out for this week are baby's startle reflex. Yes, baby's startle reflex is beginning to develop, so he actually can get startled right now. Baby fat is number 2. So baby is slowly gaining weight and losing that wrinkly appearance, so that's a yay. We all like chubby babies. Number 3 is his hair. If he does have hair now, I can see his texture, so that's exciting. As for baby, this week baby is measuring at 13 inches. Let's see what 13 inches looks like. I already thought 11 inches was a lot. This is 13 inches. My goodness, this boy is just getting bigger and bigger by the minute, it feels. And he weighs 1.5 pounds, which we'll get into later. His lungs are preparing for breathing. There's blood vessels that are developing in his lungs right now, but these are the early stages of development. His lungs also are beginning to produce surfactant, which is something that helps the lungs to expand when he does actually start to breathe. His nostrils and his nose are starting to work. He's starting to take practice breaths, of course not air, but amniotic fluid right now. So that is awesome. And it also says that he can possibly be able to smell various scents right now. Okay, so as for me, it says that my uterus should be the size of a soccer ball. And as you can see in my bump shot, the uterus is growing also by the minute. So yes, we are slowly expanding. It gives advice for this week is to brush twice a week and floss regularly to prevent periodontitis. If periodontitis does come along, it actually is linked to premature birth and preeclampsia. So it is advising us to brush twice a day and to floss regularly, as well as keep up on your dental appointments every 6 months. So dental care, dental hygiene is very important during pregnancy. So these are some other symptoms that are going on with me that are not in the app. Fooditis. It's pretty much like Thanksgiving every day. So you know how when you get stuffed after you have that Thanksgiving meal and then you just want to knock out? That's exactly how I feel. So sleep can hit me at any time of the day. So just imagine you have something to do and all of a sudden after a good meal you get sleepy. That's what I have. Naps are a plus. If I can get a nap in, I'm a happy camper. Restless legs. Restless legs is something that I had even before I tested positive for pregnancy. It's very uncomfortable. It comes and it goes. I usually have it if I'm driving for a long time or when I'm lying down, usually when I'm trying to sleep. Very uncomfortable. Trouble bending, and everything that I do from here on, I moan and groan. So I'm moaning and groaning when I sit down, moaning and groaning when I get up. That's just how it is right now. I'm moaning and groaning with just about every maneuver. I have difficulty bending down, and of course when you can't bend, what do? You drop everything. So I'm dropping things like it's going out of style, and I have a hard time picking it up. Sometimes if my toes are free, and I'll pick it up with my feet. That's how bad it is. I need one of those gripper sticks so I could just use it to pick up things that I drop, because I'm dropping things on a 24/7 basis right now. I also have discomfort when I'm trying to lie down. So even if of course when I'm sleeping, but even if I'm just trying to lie down and relax, I have a hard time. I pretty much can only lay on my left side, and if I lie on my right side, I feel like this pulling, like a muscle pulling sensation, and I come up with a cramp. If I have lie down for a long time on my right side, I'll come up with a cramp. Kind of feels like a Charlie horse of some sort. Also, baby doesn't like when I lay on my right side. He will start kicking like crazy, so that means mommy get up. So I get up. My back is uncomfortable too. It's almost like you feel like fluid rushing, almost like when you turn upside down and you feel like the blood rushing to your head. That's kind of how I feel when I lay on my back for too long. It's like I feel fluid kind of flowing to my back, and then it takes my breath away, so it's hard to breathe, and I just have to pop up. So I can only sleep on my left side, and I dare not even think about sleeping on my stomach. No. I have an increased appetite. It is ferocious, okay? Like when I tell you my appetite is that of like 3 men, it feels like. Baby is definitely growing, and I'm growing right now too. Another symptom is shortness of breath or difficulty breathing. If you cannot tell in these past couple of videos, I'm taking deep breaths with like every sentence, it feels like. So I do have a short difficulty breathing, I guess you could say. It's just hard to keep my breath. So I'm taking deep breaths, even when, you know, with sitting down, of course, and especially if I've been walking for a long time or coming up the stairs, I have to catch my breath. So that's just pregnancy. I'm also peeing multiple times in an hour. I can't even say. I have to just sit down one day and actually count how many times that I actually pee in an hour. But it feels like 2 to 3 times sometimes. And now it's gotten to the point where I'll pee, stand up, and then I have to pee right over again. Okay, I'm talking like a minute after I've walked out of the restroom, I have to go back. And I think that's just because baby boy is low, and according to my anatomy scan, he's pressing low, so that explains why when I stand up, I usually have to go right over again. So I need to stay close to the restroom. Now, let's get into my anatomy scan. I had my anatomy scan today.
Yeah, I'm on the bed.
And it was phenomenal. I mean, anytime that you can see the baby, it's just an exciting time. Now, I haven't seen him, and I want to say close to about 5 or 6 weeks now. So I was itching to see him for this anatomy scan. And also my previous ultrasounds and scans, he was tiny, so I still got to see a good picture of him, because technology these days are so awesome. But this time around, he was much bigger than my last exam, and so it was just that more exciting. So pretty much for this exam, it's a detailed exam, so they look at everything, okay? I'm talking, they look at his skull, they measure his skull, they look at his heart, his kidneys, legs and arms, fingers, toes. So I got to see his heart beating. I got to see all of the chambers of his heart and the blood flowing. It looked like an echocardiogram, but I'm not sure what it was, but you could see the blood flow through his heart. I got to see his ribs and his spinal cord. Is so detailed. It's just life, and the creation of life is just so miraculous and so beautiful. I thank God for blessing us, and to be able to do this, it's just phenomenal to witness. Just to see all of the development so far was exciting. And one thing that was special that the doctor did for me was she turned on the 3D feature, so I was able to see his cute little face. Oh my God, when she did that, it took me out. I could not hold back the tears. Of course, happy tears. You know, I was talking about that in my last video, how I'm going to make an appointment to go see him at the studio. And the doctor did it for me during that visit. I was not ready for that. Oh my God. Just thinking about it right now, I'm getting teary-eyed. But he's chubby already, guys. He has chubby cheeks. Okay, I'm back. What is this? This is round 2. So as you can see, I'm so excited and so happy about it. I couldn't even talk about it without tearing up. But he is so cute. He's adorable. He's already chunky. He has cute chubby cheeks, and he's just so precious. He's beautiful. So that was a pleasant surprise, and I can't thank her enough. Baby is measuring big. So he's measuring approximately 1 week ahead of his first scan. In that scan, they said he was measuring ahead, 1 week ahead of his due date. So if he's 1 week ahead of his due date in the first scan and 1 week ahead of the first scan in the second scan, then that means he's like 2 weeks, he's measuring 2 weeks ahead of his due date. I don't know if that's possible or not, but pretty much baby's big, okay? He's measuring big. And it's funny because people say I'm tiny, but baby is big. So he's measuring big, and he's 2 pounds. So app says baby should be about 1.5, 1.5 pounds. He is 2 pounds, guys. So he's a big boy. He's eating well. He's getting all that food that he's making me eat, so I'm happy about that. Everything is healthy, so I'm grateful for that. I mean, that's priceless. Now, to the part that is a little more alarming, I have placenta previa right now. Placenta previa is when the placenta covers the cervix. There's 4 stages of placenta previa, and right now I'm at the most severe stage, stage 4, which is where the placenta is completely covering the cervix. So this is an automatic indication for C-section, because if not, and I try to have a vaginal delivery with my placenta previa, I could possibly hemorrhage, and it could be fatal for myself and the baby. The doctor says that as my uterus grows, it moves up and it brings the placenta with it. So it's possible that this could correct itself and I could still be a candidate for vaginal delivery, but right now I'm not. So the doctor wants to check and see me back in 8 weeks. So pretty much around like 32 weeks, that's kind of like the telltale time to measure my progression. And they also sometimes will prolong delivery as long as they can. So that's it for my 25-week bump date. Thank you for watching. As always, stay blessed, stay prayed up, be a blessing, and I will see you in the next video. Smooches.